I love that we're in a series that talks about who Jesus is to us. And we've decided to talk about Jesus as our song. Jesus is our song. And I love it because it's both creative and personal. Just like music is, right? We all love different styles of music. It does different things for us. Places and times can be defined by the song. And Jesus says, I want to be your song. So it's so personal. Sydney, what does that mean to you when you hear like, Jesus is my song?
When I hear Jesus is my song, I think about what was my song before I knew him.
Yeah.
And the fact that it was the complete opposite of who he is, but through a relationship with him and just through him transforming me as a man, Jesus became my song.
Yeah.
The thing that comes out of my mouth.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Even as you're saying that, I'm processing, for me and my life and testimony, I didn't have a song until I met Jesus.
Right.
Like, I didn't, of course I listened to music and all of that, but music meant nothing to me. And an actual song and a sound coming out of me meant nothing until I met Jesus. And then all of a sudden, almost like how you said, it brings in this creative element. It's almost like I didn't have the creativity until I found him. Even thinking of this psalm, it's Psalm 71, 22, and it says, the first part just says, I will also praise you with a harp, even your truth. Oh my God. And it's like once that truth came in, the truth of Jesus, it changed everything.
Yeah.
Like my creativity started to flow. I started to write songs. I started to play instruments, and none of that happened until I met Jesus.
Well, and the fact that Jesus is our song, we were designed for music. You know, our bodies are designed for music. If you meet a little person, like your little guy, Nash, right? You play music and kids come alive to it. They start dancing to it. It's like there's a part in us that was made for music. And when we communicate with words, it uses just part of our bodies.
Right.
But when you communicate with song, music, and lyrics, the whole self lights up. It reverberates throughout all of us. And I think that is part of the intent of Jesus as our song. Like, he fills up our whole being. It's not just my mind is on or a part of me is accessed. All of me is accessed. And I don't think it's an accident that Jesus would say, I want to be your song.
And even as you say that, one thing I've always said about singing is when you talk to someone, like I could just be talking to you guys and think about a million other things and just not, like it's not engaged. Like I can just do it and multitask. But when I sing to someone, I stop everything that I'm doing. And I don't even sing to people often.
Right.
Like how often do you just stop and be like, it's just me and you, Sydney, I'm gonna sing to you. Like it's so intimate and it takes so much just vulnerability.
Right.
And even as I read that psalm, people love to read the Psalms, and I think it's so good because David was just stopping and singing to the Lord, and we see his intimacy and his vulnerability on display, which is what makes Psalms so great. And so when I think of Jesus is my song, it really for me means because music is everything to me and because song is everything to me, Jesus is everything to me, and they kind of run parallel in my life.
So good. I think you talked about intimacy and those personal places, right? I love often David talks about Jesus being a song in the night, right? Or being a song of deliverance in those scary places, in those alone places, in those dark places. Like Psalm 42:8 says, the Lord will command his loving kindness in the daytime. I love it. Like the sun is up, all is good, he's loving kindness. And in the night, his song is with me. It's like now all of a sudden I need something more personal than that because I'm afraid, I'm alone. Anxiety kicks in at nighttime, It's like when the demons try to get you, it's in the dark. And Jesus says, wait a minute, I'm going to be your song in that dark place. The psalmist also talks about, gives us songs of deliverance. And I think those are the places where we need him most. And that's when he shows up as a song that breaks through dark places. I don't know, that's how it's been for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think of songs when I think of songs. I think of like soundtracks, I think of albums. Like one thing that you can't hide is what's coming out of you. So us as Christians, like we're called to represent Jesus to those that are around us. And it's easy to do that when things are going well. And it's easy for the song of your life to be Jesus when things are going well. But even like Paul and Silas, when they're in prison and everything told them that they shouldn't worship God. Everything told them that they should curse God, even in their worst times. Their song was still Jesus. And I think that's just a testament of just how powerful that statement is, that Jesus is our song.
That's so good. And breakthrough came from that place, right? Paul and Silas, they're singing a song in the dark place, and all of a sudden chains fall off, the doors fly open, and they're free, even as prisoners. And I think that's our reality. And I hope it becomes your reality. As you get to know Jesus as your song, I pray that he becomes your song in the night watch. I pray that he becomes your song in intimate places. I pray that he begins to define your life, as he's done for us, as our song. So God bless you as you get to know Jesus as your song.